G'day guys, Seeney here, and welcome to another episode on the Australian Wealth channel. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about how you can avoid going broke if you happen to win the lottery. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. It really helps to get these videos out to more people. So in this video, we are going to be talking about how you can avoid going broke after winning the lottery. And you'd think, well, you know what? That seems pretty counterintuitive. Why on earth would I go broke once I've just won all of this money? Now, the thing is, 70% of people that win the lottery end up going broke within 3 to 5 years. In fact, a lot of people end up declaring bankruptcy within 3 to 5 years of winning the lottery. So it's only about 30% of lottery winners that don't actually go broke. So I think it's worth noting that the sorts of people that would probably buy lottery tickets would be the type of people that would tend to overspend perhaps and gamble some of that money away. But of course, if you like doing that kind of thing, that's great. You do you. But let's say that you want to be the 30%. You've got yourself a massive windfall, whether that be the lottery or something else. It could even relate to inheritance. And you've got yourself $1 million. So obviously, when you win the lottery, it could be any amount of money. It could be 50 grand, it could be 100 grand, it could be $1 million, it could be $10 million, it could be even more than that. But what we're going to do is we're going to work off $1 million figure because it's nice and clean and even. But obviously, this makes sense whether you win $1 million or whether you win $10 million. So the key to not going broke is to take this money and use it to generate more money for yourself. So you want this money to be considered principal while you live off the interest that money is generating. If you just start spending that $1 million, it's going to go really fast. You buy yourself a really nice car, there's over 100 grand gone. Maybe you upgrade your house a little bit, or you buy a new house, like the money is just gone. So it's really important to take that money and use it to generate even more money for you over time without eating away at it. So if I'd won the lottery and I won $1 million, this is exactly what I would do. There are two options, which you can either do either one or two, or maybe you could even mix and match these options. And that's going to give you some diversity in your investing. And that might be a little bit safer than just taking either one or two. So here's the first option. With $1 million, what you could do is buy yourself a property completely free and clear. So let's say it's $1 million property. Obviously, you got taxes such as stamp duty and things like that. But you could buy yourself an investment property worth around $1 million, and you'd be able to rent this property out for over $4,000 a month on the low end. These rents could also go up from here, but we'll keep it conservative based on our calculations. So because you've won all this money, it's completely free and clear of a mortgage. So that means that there's no repayments or anything like that. You're just collecting all of that rental money. Now, because of this, you're generating about $48,000 a year, completely free and clear in your pocket. Of course, you might have to worry about repairs or vacancy, things like that. But because you don't have a mortgage, you don't have any debts regarding that. So it's not much to repay at all. So not only are you generating $48,000 completely free and clear just by owning this asset and renting it out, but based on the long-term trajectory of the property sector here in Sydney, for example, property has grown at about 7% every single year. So on top of getting $48,000 in rental income, you're also getting that 7% appreciation. And on $1 million property, that's about $70,000 a year. So not only do you have that 70, you combine that with the 48,000 for a total of $118,000 a year, and increasing as rentals increase over time. And as the value of your property gets more, it's still increasing at that 7% rate. So it's just compounding constantly. So this is like the starting figure, and it's gonna go up from there. So obviously, there's 48 grand that you can spend, the rest is equity, but of course you can use this to leverage further properties in the future. And then of course, you can increase the amount of rent that you're collecting by buying another property and going from there. So getting $1 million and then turning that into $118,000 a year is a pretty great return on investment. So this is probably the first path that I would take, and that basically ensures that you are secure for the future. Some of the pros that come along with this is obviously you're getting rental income as well as capital growth. So that's something to keep into account. Obviously the cons of this is you have to deal with tenants and potentially repairs and perhaps pay a property manager as well if you're not interested in doing it yourself. So that's something to keep in mind. Now the second option is definitely one that is great. And it's very low maintenance. There's not really much that you have to do at all, which is fantastic. Now the return isn't quite as high, but of course, you're not doing any work at all. Now the next option is to invest that money into an S&P 500 index fund. So you'd be looking at something like VOO, VOO, which is the Vanguard index that tracks the S&P 500. So for the last 100 years or so, this has averaged about 7 to 8% every single year. So by investing $1 million into that fund, 7% is obviously going to be a return of 70, 8% is going to be $80,000, which is pretty significant. Now, obviously, that's the entire amount, and we do have inflation, which is roughly 2 to 3% every year. So it's really worth keeping in mind that to err on the side of caution, you only want to be withdrawing about 4% of this every year. So you have that buffer of inflation because the cost of living is going to go up over time. And we might be able to live great now, but that 70 grand is going to be worth less and less over time. So with this method, you'd want to be withdrawing about 40 grand a year that you'll be able to use, and that'll keep you really safe and in the event of any kind of inflation as it continues. So this amount is a lot lower than renting out a property and of course the capital growth that goes along with that. But the advantage of this is that it's completely low effort. You don't need to do anything. You just collect $40,000 a year. And obviously you don't touch the principal. You could even add to the principal and keep reinvesting if you're still working. So over time, that million over the course of 10 years might actually bump up to 2 million in principal, and then you're taking home $80,000 a year completely free and clear. So those are the two things that I would do if I was going to win $1 million or get a windfall of $1 million somehow like that. There's potential for you to mix and match as well. You might be able to buy a property for $500,000 and put the other $500,000 into an S&P 500. It's not strictly one or the other, but this is of course one of the ways that you can actually make your lottery win go a lot further than just that $1 million. You shouldn't even be touching the principal of that, especially in the short term. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps to get these videos out to more people. If you're looking at investing and getting yourself into an index fund like VOO, the Vanguard Index, and I have a link to Stake in the description. If you sign up, you'll get yourself a free stock once you put money in the brokerage, which is fantastic. And of course, I have a link to WeMoney as well, where you can actually track your net worth. That's what I use to track my net worth. Fantastic, connects to all your accounts. Very safe and secure, and they'll give you $5 just for signing up, which is pretty good. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe. My name is Seeney from the Australian Wealth Channel, and we will see you later.